Leon Draisaitl looks like SpongeBob SquarePants because he's got a square upper body and these tiny little legs, and he's got a gap in his teeth.
This is LA Kings Fan Talk with Rodney, Rob, Darren, Mike, and Joe. What's up, everyone? We are back from vacation and ready to talk some Kings hockey. And it looks like we're back just in time, as the Kings have gone 4-5-2 since our last show. Darren, 0 wins in the last 5 games. What's going on with the Kings?
I think some of it's luck, honestly. I think if you look, there's a stat, PDO, shooting percentage plus save percentage. For the Islanders game, we are 102, and so that means we are above 100%, which is usually 100% is where you want to be, because that means you're not more lucky and you're not less lucky than you should be. The PDO for the Kings right now is 96 since that Islanders game. So I think if you look at it, we're a little unlucky compared to where we could be, and I think it's our finishing mostly. I don't think our defense, like our save percentage, is a little lower than what it was before that Islanders game, but it's just our finishing. And I don't know if that's teams have figured something out against us or if we're just unlucky. And I think I lean towards a little bit unlucky. But I mean, there are some scheme things I talked about, and who's hot, who's not. I want to see them get to the net more. I don't think we're getting very many net drives. But that's something you can fix, tomorrow, basically. So I'm not terribly worried about it long term. I think we can easily flip around. How many games have we actually been out of? 1 in that stretch? Realistically, maybe 2, like Toronto and Winnipeg. I mean, every other game we've been, there may be a couple of multi-goal losses, but they're close till the end kind of situations. So I'm not really worried about it. I think we just need to figure out some little parts of our game, and we'll get right back on that winning train again.
Way to stay positive there, Darren. All right, Rob, same question. What's going on with the Kings?
He pulled out the whole advanced stats, PDO, and all other stuff. When I agree with what the summary of that all was, is we're not finishing at all. Today's game against Washington was a little microcosm of
Kaliev. We have 4 posts today?
4 posts.
5?
Kaliev had 6 shots, real good chances. Nothing's going in. I understand people not liking him much whatsoever, but if shots can just go in for us, it seems we're starting to shoot at the goalie's chest rather than picking corners or whatever. But our lack of finishing, and it's been this for years and years. We've always asked, we need finishers on the team. We need finishers on the team. Kempe's a finisher, Fiala's a finisher, stuff like that. And we're going cold. It's just our shooters are going cold, and we're losing.
Can you give us your best facial impression of Kaliev when he shoots and doesn't score? Let's see it. Yeah, that was worth it, I guess. Joe, what's going on with the Kings?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I guess I agree with Darren and Rob. This is bound to happen through the course of a season, and to Darren's point, they easily could have won 2 of the last 3 or whatever, 2 of the last 4 or 5 games. All the ones that went to overtime.
Yeah.
So it's it's a long season, so you're bound to run into stretches where you're not going to win games that maybe you should have, or you're playing too close to the edge there, where the margin's that thin. Sorry, excuse me. When the margin's that thin, then you're vulnerable. So today, if Lizotte, that's what I call him. Sorry to the people in the interwebs. But if he would have buried one of those 2 of those goals, and then not just because they would have put them up or because they would have more goals than the other team, but when you have that, when you do end up with that 2-goal advantage, then it does put you in a position to play a bit differently. That said, I know that they've blown some leads and whatnot, and that's obviously
Yeah, I was just gonna
the
say I looked at it and we have 4 games that had a 2 goal lead since that Islanders game that we've lost the game, and I think 2
yeah.
of them were shootout. But
And
uh,
then you go back to the beginning of the season when we were winning games. A majority, I think, over 2/3 or 75% of them at one point were by a 2 goal margin or more. So
yeah,
again, when you get back, you get down into 1 goal games, and you know your $8.5 million new acquisition is struggling to score, it's now becoming a problem because the rest of the team's not. And then the fourth line was electric at the beginning of the season, putting up points. So it's a team. It's definitely a team effort for sure. The silver lining is this was bound to happen, and they're still a good team. They got games in hand. They're still in a good spot in the. So I'm not concerned about it. Um, it would be, and I will say like Kempe or not Kempe, Fiala has not finished this year. It's been kind of eerily, unsettling. And so for him to come to life over the last few games, that's definitely an encouraging sign. So they just need to get everybody pulling on the same rope again. Again, not worried about it, but you know, uh, but not a lot positive to say out of the last couple of weeks. Even if they had won those games, I don't think any of us would be truly that satisfied with, winning, uh, a little bit more than half of them, just based off the play that's been going on. Giving
yeah.
up too much, giving up goals right after you score, just not being the dominant team that we saw the first couple of months of the year.
So if the Kings go another 5 games without winning a game, we'll have to do a new show called "Are the Kings the worst team in the NHL?" I hope that doesn't happen. All right, so
I think we'll
time's
turn it into a drinking podcast at that point.
right.
How much? What are you drinking? How much you drinking?
Maybe we'll do that today anyway. All right, let's talk about Kings calling up Brandt Clarke and simultaneously losing Toby Bjornfot to the Golden Knights. Rob, you want to go first?
Yeah, if you want me
What
to.
do you got?
And it just, you know, it sucks to lose a first round draft pick for absolutely nothing.
Hashtag asset management.
Sure. I, I would like to say it's because we're just that deep and uh, the organization is just that stock full that that's just the way the things go. Um, by the way, he played last night in the Vegas win, played 18 and a half minutes, and they iced 5 of the 6 defensemen were left-handed.
Yeah, they have like what 3 injuries right now on their back end.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so funny. It's just I see other teams do it. This is just an example, It's never a problem. They have like 2 different centers playing wing. They got all left-handed defensemen, and it's never a problem for other teams. But our fan base just screams bloody murder if one defenseman's playing his off wing, and centers aren't are natural centers. They're not wingers, and it's always a King problem. It's never anyone else's problem. But I digress. Back to Clarky boy. That's I'm the biggest fan. I don't mind saying that out loud. I've been vocal about he needs to be in the NHL. He looked good tonight. He looked like he belonged. I'm, and it sucks that we lose Bjornfot in the mix. I'm just tickled pink right now about having Clarke up there. He's going to be a difference maker. I'm telling you.
Yeah, did you guys see? What did coach say? Something like, "We brought him on this trip, so he's going to play some." It almost sounds
Yeah.
like he's going to go back and forth with Spence and Clarke. I know a lot of people would rather see Spence play his off wing and have
England sit.
have him sit in England, but I don't think that's what Coach Todd is going to do. Anyway, what'd you think about the move, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, if you lose your, what is he, our fifth left defenseman, Toby? Like, I mean, it sucks, but if you can't beat out the likes of Moverare and England for a roster spot, for a starting roster spot, I mean, what are we getting back for him reasonably in a trade? You know what I mean? Like, I know he was a first rounder, but after the first rounders picked, they don't go up in value until they start proving it at the NHL level, and he's never proven that he's a guy like that at the NHL level. So what were we going to get for him? A fifth rounder, sixth rounder?
I think
I,
the mismanagement part. Sorry to cut you off, Darren. Just
no, it's fine.
the mismanagement part. I think comes in. He's just so young,
Yeah.
and for us to be in that situation with him at the get go, that's the frustrating part. I wouldn't have mind just seeing him down in the AHL for a couple more seasons. I mean, he got thrown into the fire. I mean, think about
Yeah.
how many seasons we've seen him already. You know, at
He played a full season, season one, basically, and
right.
then since then has kind of been used sparingly.
Yeah,
And
we were forced into this situation, so that's the suck part of it. But
yeah,
sorry.
Okay,
and
so let,
no,
let
no,
me
it's fine.
let me chime in then about the mismanaged. That's what I see a problem is a guy played a full season, what, 2 years ago, and then the next year doesn't even make the roster from opening night. Like, what transpired in that time period where the guy doesn't at least get put slotted as a seventh defenseman? How could you fall off that much? And from my memory, he didn't play at all in the playoffs that year either. If I recall correctly, he went and played almost 80 games. I think it was 70 games, and then
I don't think we made the playoffs his first season.
okay,
What
well,
he
whatever the
was
year
his
that he
first season the
played.
COVID year, right?
No, no, I'm
When
talking
like
about the year that he played the
56.
70
Yeah,
games.
the
The year
70 he
they played the Oilers, and so it was the first time they played the Oilers in the
Oh,
playoffs.
okay,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
2, 3 years ago.
yeah.
Um, there are reasons why maybe he played, but and why he didn't play. And I'm not sophisticated enough to justify what the Kings did with him. To me, it's mismanagement in that you felt perfectly comfortable with him playing like all those games, and you didn't play him at all. It's similar to me, like with Copley last year. They didn't just like threw him under the bus in the playoffs. Why didn't he get a shot? The guy carried you through the dirt the tough parts of the season. I just feel like he got a raw deal on that front. But back to Bjornfort, if you're not sold on the guy, he should have been traded the summer that he played 70 games. Like, why are you showing up to camp pretty much knowing that he's not going to be on the team? He's not in your long-term future or long-term plans. That's the mismanagement to me. And then all the salary complications and stuff that come to a head this year, that's where it's okay. That's fine. We don't have a spot for him. Well, we didn't maximize the return out of that, and he's just a microcosm of the head scratching moves that the Blanket Company have made. But it's just head scratching in that we talked about this before with in terms of letting Clarke play. We could have brought Clarke up in the beginning of the season, let him and Spence. And granted, Spence has earned his keep, no doubt. But if we were talking before about if you want to move Roy or something like that, let's see what we have with Clarke. Can he hang in there and carry the load, so to speak, whatever. Anyway, I'll shut up at that point. But yeah, it's
I mean,
frustrating.
for sure, it sucks to lose something for nothing. I think at the point we are now, I don't think we are getting anything for him that was reasonable because other teams are just going to go, you don't have any leverage.
Oh
Waive
no,
him.
I get it.
no,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know.
And
That's what I'm
so
talking about. Mismanagement, though. Is
yeah,
like,
it
oh,
definitely. I understand the like, oh, why didn't we trade him 2 years ago? But maybe I mean, he was obviously taken as a first rounder for a reason. Like they saw something in him, and he just never realized whatever that was. And if he realizes it elsewhere, that's fine. Like he just wasn't gonna compete here for a spot. It seemed like
it's not
so.
fine if it happens in Vegas, Darren. Let's be honest.
True. All right. Yeah, I agree.
Right. And
They like to take our rejects and
when
turn them
when
around.
people say mismanagement, it doesn't mean we should have got 2 first-rounders for a guy that we let
No,
go to the Ravers.
it's
It's
a much
just
bigger picture than
yeah,
that. It's
for
not
sure.
just him in a vacuum either. It's the whole
Yeah.
why do we get to this point sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I heard Rob comment on it, but Darren, what'd you think about Brant Clarke's playing his first game this year?
I thought he looked good. I mean, he did some of the stuff that we like to see him do. He was active offensively. I don't think I missed. I wasn't watching the game for the second and third goal, so I don't know if he was on the ice for them or not. But I don't remember them like, oh, Clarke does this. Actually, he was on the ice for the second goal.
For
right?
the one, but it was totally not his fault. That was when PL Dubois decided, hey, I'll just throw it right back to the middle again after everyone was taken off of ice. So
right when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, that's on Clarke. He didn't, he started going up the ice. But then when I rewatched it, I'm like, oh, what was PL doing? Throwing in the middle like that?
It was sickening. I think Jim Fox said it best, where it's like PL needed to take 2 more strides before he tried to make that pass up the middle kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, he was on the ice for 1 goal against. I mean, obviously, he solved our power play issues. We scored 2 power play goals, right? I mean, clearly, him being out there solved it, right? So, but
Darren, since you're the stats guy, I need you to look up to see what Kings player has given up the most turnovers this year. Because I know a lot of people will automatically think it's Fiala based on some of the stuff you see, but I think it's PLD. Just watching the game, I'm like, every time he touches the puck, most of the time he'll lose the puck to the other team. But Joe, what do you think about Brant Clarke today?
Oh, I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to go with Fiala on that one, but yeah, unless you're saying that for a fact that.
Well, Fiala's more obvious because he'll do like 8 dangles and try a crazy pass, get it intercepted.
Yeah.
It's more obvious. Well, PLD touch the puck, just lose it to their team all the time, and it's like you don't notice.
I think impactful. I think impactful turnovers is definitely Fiala, where it's like Fiala made a pass and it's going the other way for a breakaway. But I mean, PLD has a couple. I think today was the worst one that I remember him having. He has a couple where it's like he's along the wall and just
I think with PLD
goes to him and he just kind of lets it go.
It's a lot more passive. It's not some reckless play where you're the last guy back and break away.
Well, let's put it this way: just watch the next few games. I know Rob had something like this. Watch the next few games of PLD, but this time, instead of trying to watch his effort level, when the puck is on a stick, watch who gets the puck next. 90% of the time, it's the other team. It's not anybody in the Kings. I'm just saying.
It's funny, you guys talking about Fiala and Dubois. Those are our 2 worst plus-minus guys. Weird.
Yeah,
do you want to hear the giveaways?
Yeah.
3-way tie for the first. Fiala's number 1. Who else is the other 2 that are tied for first for giveaways?
Who are the drivers? It would be.
Think from the back.
Yeah.
Doughty? It's Drew Doughty, Matt Roy.
Yep.
Speaking of Matt Roy, he had a couple solid hits today. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, he definitely. That was a nice one. I think in the third period. So did what's his name, Laferriere. Caught that guy.
He did.
Napping.
There was some crying about that hit from Kings fans even, and I was surprised by that.
You know what? Hey, the past month or so, I've been trying not to read Twitter. There are some stupid Twitter King fans. I don't even want to get into that. What I'm trying to do, I wanted to push my narrative about Brant Clarke a little bit. I really like the defensive pairings today. I like Roy with England because I think England is our least defensive. He's the worst left-handed defenseman of the 3 lefties, and so
he's just not the strongest defender.
Right.
So you put him with your best,
the best defensive right-handed guy.
That was good.
I really liked it a lot, and
you also bring a pure physical element.
Those 2 together are pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And now when I'm looking at the 4th line out there, and sometimes when England and Spence were out there with the 4th line, I'd be biting my nails a little bit, going, "Uh-oh, I don't like the 5 guys that unit on the ice right now." Now it's not so scary with Roy back there with them, and I really liked it.
If they are rotating them, would you put Spence with Gavrikov? Just swap Clarke and Spence straight up, or would you go back to the original pairings?
I mean, might as well try it for a couple games. We haven't been winning.
I mean, at this point, I'm fine with everyone complains about the blender and like, oh, why are we switching lines all the time? It's like, we're not winning.
No,
We're gonna,
we've talked about, or at least I know that I've patted coach on the back for. This is the coach that I can remember out of all Kings history, like sticking with lines, or at least pairs of players on the forward side of things.
yeah.
For better or for worse, I think most cases it's been better. I think where it's been he's had no choice is like, PLD's line's not working, so he's got to find,
I think if there's anything interesting about his line blending, it's he swapped pairs with a lot of guys.
Yeah,
Because last season you looked, it was Kopitar Kempe was always a pair. Dano Moore was always a pair, and then our third line was our third line. This season it's been PLD and LaFerriere.
Yeah,
but he swapped it to where it's now Kopitar and Byfield is the pair, and Dano and Fiala is the pair, and still it's Dubois and LaFerriere, but that leaves Kaliev, Kempe, and
More.
what am I drawing? More as the rotating guy. And I think
generally he's putting like an individual that is the catalyst with not the whole up all the way up and down the lineup, but generally speaking, trying to find one catalyst to help the other two.
For sure.
Is it a coincidence that once they split up Moore and Dano, both of their games have dropped off a little bit?
Not necessarily.
I'm almost thinking
I don't
to
think it's
reunite them. Those two with maybe a different winger. But
more narrative driving here. Is it a coincidence that the Kings are winless the 4 games that Kaliev did not play? Just saying.
One trick pony.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Kaliev, until he kind of went cold a little bit with the offense, he's definitely a better player this year. Like, he's effective on the wall.
He's forecheck-in better for sure.
Yeah, like he's not as passive as he used to be, and like he's a big dude, so he should be assertive. I see him getting his hands dirty a lot more than PLD. Put it that way.
Yeah,
or at least mucking it up in the corner.
I think the one thing I don't understand with the one trick pony narrative with him is his passing is so good sometimes. Like especially the breakout passes from the D zone where I see him have a second to make a pass, like he puts it on people's tape a lot of times.
Right. And back to what Joe was saying about the PLD stuff, he gets sit for that game and the last 2 games now that he's played, he's noticeably hustling more. It's like if he took the call out of being sat to heart and now he's trying to bring it to another level. Where PLD, I don't know if he's getting called out or not, but I just never see that extra gear change. Shift gears, go harder, get angry, do something out of your comfort zone here and push your limit. I don't know.
Going back to just to go off on a tangent, since we're just stream of consciousness right now, but I was thinking this earlier when we were doing the who is hot or who is not. Where the Kings are at this point in the season, the losing streak, all that stuff. This is somewhat cliche. I feel like the Kings need that game against the Oilers last year where there were 3 fights and there took no shit. Dano jumped on whoever it was, Oilers guy. Great game, and whatever. Obviously, I'm a Kings fan, so see it through that lens. Even though I hate the Oilers, but that was not even at that point in the season where that needed to happen. But these guys are all tugging on the same rope. So I would like we need something like that to happen. Just I mean, it could have happened today. Like with the Roy hit and the LaFerriere hit. There was really no response from Washington, surprisingly. So
it'll probably happen in Florida.
I got to ask Rob this question.
True.
What do you think about your boy Tom Wilson taking a run.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about, right? He took a run at LaFerriere.
Yeah, and then
Had to go off the ice with his face all beat up.
well, I actually paused it and I slow mode it to see if he was going to try and throw his shoulder into LeFerrier's jaw and like just end his career, and he didn't. LeFerrier's left hand came across and basically just punched him right in the nose. So
But like as a follow through, it wasn't like a
yeah, no, yeah. So he just moved when he got hit. LeFerrier going to the side, his left hand came across and just nailed him in the face. So it was that. I actually slow moded a couple times just to get all the angles of it.
So what's the headline? LaFerriere left hook takes Tom Wilson out of the game.
It was yeah. You don't see it unless, like I said, it was hard to see unless you slow mo it. But
Well, I'm pretty sure they don't play each other again the rest of the season because if they did,
Nope.
in next season, bookmark this. Next time LaFerriere's on the ice with him, he's gonna be like
Especially after he ran
doing
Rivalry.
this the whole.
no,
Yeah.
I honestly think Tom Wilson is going to sit there and said he did that to himself. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah. What do you guys think about if they did how Byfield and Dubois are BFFs? They got the BFF bracelets and stuff. What if we did a Dubois, Byfield, and Kempe line? How would that look? So basically, you're just swapping Kopitar and Dubois.
Yeah.
I say
Talked about it
try.
earlier.
I say
I
try.
mean,
I say try anything.
Yeah, I'm always all for line changes when things aren't going well because you can always what works to some extent or what has worked in the past, so you can always go back to that. So like if you want to try that for, you have to try it for games. You can't just try it for a period. Like it's got to be 2-3 games. Let them get in a rhythm together.
Right. I'm still sticking to my original lines from the beginning of the season that I wish I would saw, and that is I would love to see Kempe, Dubois, and Fiala.
We almost scored with those three on the ice.
Those three
today.
together and just let people figure it out, and then put Kopi with Byfield and Kaliev, and then you could still have Deneau and Moore together, and LaFerriere would go great with those guys.
Yeah.
I just that's been my dream since game one, but
I thought your dream was for the Kings to sign Yager and have him play in the top two lines.
Hey, he's still available.
Well, let me talk about the goalies really quick here. So, Santa's helper out for the season, right? ACL.
He said he'll be back in June when the Kings are still playing. By the way, I don't know if you saw that or not.
So based on the rest of the season going forward here, Joe started talking about the goalies already. So what do you think, Joe? Are you cool with Are you happy with Talbot and Riddick and Net?
I don't think we have a choice, but I'm obviously like, who could be disappointed with the way Talbot's performed? I mean, I think the issue there is just a matter of maintaining health, and then also even if it's not health, like he's playing a lot consistently. Will the play start to tally off as as it gets tired throughout the season? But we don't really have a choice, do we? I mean, like, what are the options?
No.
Did you just call him Talbot? His actual name is All-Star Cam Talbot. I don't know if you mispronounced it or what, but that's his actual name.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, he earned his All-Star credential for what
sure.
that's worth.
Mainly with his locker room celebration, right, Joe?
Yeah.
We need another one of those videos.
But
we need that back so bad. It's been so long since we've had one of those.
I know. I don't think we've had one since Gavrikov came back, right?
Yeah.
We had one since
he came
back from injury?
We had one with him.
And then
okay.
Yeah.
Rob said you want to talk about fantasy trades. Is the goalie in that fantasy trade there, Rob? What's your fantasy trade?
Fantasy trades.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it seems one of our podcasts that got a lot of views and a lot of people talking was just when I mentioned Roy, what are we going to do with Roy? And it's so funny how things we talk about on our podcasts, it always seems like a few weeks later, those things start popping up, and it's it's the trade stuff. I mean, now that Copley is officially out for the season, and we got Talbot and Riddich, which their save percentages are just if they could maintain the save percent, they got plus 920 save percentages going on. If that holds up for the rest of the season, we won't need a goalie.
No.
920 save percentage is good enough for a goalie going in playoffs. So,
Oh, I thought you meant let's just go empty net the rest of the season. But
but if goalie is going to be, I think it might rear its head that we might need a goalie. Oh, who knows? So who are we going to trade? Who are we going to trade for this? Who are the options?
well, if Aaron performs excellent at the AHL level, maybe we could sign him to an NHL contract or a two-way contract.
Yeah.
He won't be.
I mean,
He won't
yeah,
be
I
there.
don't know.
No, that
Nah,
attitude.
I don't think so. I think if we're talking, fantasy pie in the sky or whatever, I think it's like a Skarov or Wallstrom. Is it Wallstrom? Is that his name? What's the prospect's name from Minnesota?
It's
Why
a
am I drawing a
stat.
blank?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyways, the prospect from Minnesota. One of those two guys where it's a young guy, unproven, but high draft capital, high pedigree type guy, where they have blockers in front of them. And, could we trade? And that's a trade where you could go Roy for a Skarov, and it's not looked at as we're giving up too much because we're getting a potential franchise goalie at a young age. I think that's the only deal that truly makes sense in my mind. I just don't see a top level goalie that's available because all the top level goalies are on the good teams. Like, you know what I mean? We're not.
How much do you think it would cost to get Jonathan Quick out of New York?
Toby Bjornfot. Oh, never mind. He's gone.
I think that's a big middle finger from Quick before he accepts that trade.
But yeah,
That was sarcasm.
No, I know.
more fantasy stuff in my head. Right now, I don't know I don't know if I want the roster to change all that much because I don't know what we need. Do we need maybe a little more physicalness?
Yes, I feel like we need somebody physical.
Honestly, how good of a team are we if you take out LaFerriere and put in Tom Wilson?
Yeah.
Well, today LaFerriere almost took out Tom Wilson.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And that's I'm just talking physicalness as far as
right.
Yeah.
or is LaFerriere plenty enough tough?
No, not as far as what we need. He fits a different role. But okay, so let's talk about this.
Before we trade for toughness, I would almost want to see Andre Lee given a run, where he's a big boy.
He's a big
So
boy.
you
He's
want-
playing top
but
line
he's not-
minutes.
Which is
He's
my
playing
point
top
though
line
too.
minutes of the rain. Like,
Right. So you want to do it in house, and you don't want to trade
try
him
it.
anyway.
Try it. I mean, you could try it. I'm not saying it has to work. If it doesn't work, you try it before the trade deadline. If it doesn't work, you go, okay, let's go get a tougher guy.
What about sticking with Lee? How about trading Roy for Anders lead?
There you go. Just getting someone who's
I'll tell you
going to
why.
take out people's
We
knees.
need Roy's the kind of player you want for the playoffs. That's why.
Roy is the
Yeah.
guy. So once again, we are not getting rid of Roy.
I don't think we can.
For sure.
We have to
I
find
don't
a way to
think
keep him because he is the type of guy you need in the playoffs.
Okay.
He's your solid defenseman, plays physical. Yeah.
He finally got his first goal. Yay.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think that's another spot where you can look at, like, I talked about PDO and stuff like that earlier in the podcast. Like, our defensive scoring is way down, and it's way down compared to, like, maybe the top teams, but even compared to our pace last season, we're not going to hit the same numbers of goals and stuff from our defensemen.
Upcoming schedule, Rob. What do we got?
All right, we're on this road trip, guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more games left in this road trip of the 6-game road trip. We are at Tampa Bay, at Florida. Then we head on up to Detroit. Then we go back down to Carolina. And on the way back home, we stop in Dallas. Some tough teams. You know, I think it's not only is it sucks that we're on the road, even though we're a great road team, but these are formidable
This is the
opponents.
gauntlet. This
Yeah.
is the gauntlet of our
They
season,
are.
I think.
So
This
a
really
total
is.
of 10 points possible.
Left in the road trip. There's 10 points left.
Let's do this.
Let's
start
do
with
this.
Long Beach Joe.
How many points, Joe? 10 points.
Let me tally him up here.
0.
Gonna go with us getting a win. Lightning will lose against the Panthers. Win against Red Wings. Win against
Due to time constraints, we fast forwarded
Six.
it. Just-
I guess 6 points. 6 points.
6 out of 10.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Darren, what do you got?
I'm going to go with 8 points, but
I like it.
we don't lose in regulation. It's 3-0-2.
Wow, you're optimistic.
Because
Okay.
I think we're still in every single game, and it's going to flip eventually. I don't know. I have some confidence that we're going to flip it around, and we have a revenge game against Detroit, losing a shootout against them. Florida, we always play hard because Kachuk and those guys, and I don't know. I see us 8 out of 10. We're going to go 3-0-2.
I hope so. Rod?
7 points.
All right. I'm sitting there. I like our chances against Florida. I think we play well enough against Florida. I think we do. I think we're mad at Detroit.
Little payback.
Carolina. That's going to be the game to figure out if it's a positive road trip or negative, I think. And then I think we have Dallas's number. So there's 3 wins in there. That's 6 points. Let's give a overtime loss in there. 7. I'm with you with the 7 points. Let's hope. That's optimistic. Hey, Kings fans, we're 20-10-6. All you idiot assholes on Twitter that just you're like Toronto Maple Leafs fans. Seriously, like relax. Be positive.
That's almost as bad as Canuck fans, but not quite.
And I'm like, man, being positive doesn't mean you can't, express, hey, call out guys or anything like that. I get it. We're all fans. But it's embarrassing sometimes.
You know what? I freaking hate the Edmonton Oilers and their fans.
Oh, my God.
Just absolutely hate them.
Joe, Darnell Nurse, Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid. Who do you hate the most on that team?
Leon Draisaitl for me.
Leon Draisaitl. Everybody hates him. SpongeBob SquarePants. Put that in there. Edmonton Oilers fans. Leon Draisaitl looks like SpongeBob SquarePants because he's got a square upper body and these tiny little legs, and he's got a gap in his teeth. The only thing that he's missing is the affectionate qualities that SpongeBob has. Other than that, he's a crusty crab. He sent to the abyss with lead shoes. Screw that. That guy's not even a hockey player. He's like a villain in a cartoon.
Wow.
That doesn't even make any
Dude,
sense.
you just kicked him all the way down to Bikini Bottom. That's impressive.
I hate that guy.
Would you trade PLD for him? Absolutely.
I would as long as the salary made sense. Yeah. And that's a no-brainer. But I don't know. I don't even know if I would like. I think I would be very critical of him if he was on the Kings.
Yeah. No, yeah, he's dirty. He's dirty. Darren, who's your most hated Oiler?
It's probably Draisaitl.
Well,
It was.
But on the Kings, what do you prefer? Somebody dirty or somebody that's lazy? It's not giving full effort.
I mean, it's easier to defend someone who's dirty than it is someone who's lazy.
Got it.
You know. But
Ooh.
Okay.
who was their enforcer? Cassian. He was.
Wait, are you talking about ex-girlfriends, Darren? Or are you talking about? Are we still talking about hockey here? What's going on?
No, yeah, hockey.
Okay.
Hockey.
We better
Yeah, it was
get it.
Cassian before, and then when he got shipped to.
I don't know. I hate
did.
ever since Darnell Nurse headbutted Deneau
Yeah.
and got away with it. That it sickens me.
All right, Kings fans, that's our show for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and slewfoot that notification bell. Until next time, stay classy. And go Kings, go!
Go Kings.
Go Kings.
Oilers.
Shout out to Puka Nakua. Breaking records. Dry saddle sucks. Oilers suck.
Try
Anything else?
something German for shitty.
Dry side on the German for shit. Yes, it is.